Hello and welcome. Today I have a DIY video for you. As some of you may know, I am an event planner and I have an event coming up celebrating Black hair. So today I'm going to show you how I created this beautiful queen wreath. So I found this picture on the internet. I printed it out on some specialty paper. So this will be our melanin here. And this specialty paper is just as thin as the regular paper, so it fits in every printer. And I found this. They're all less than $1 at Hobby Lobby. On the left, you can see this is a picture I have for my king wreath. I will show you all the king wreath in a later video. But today, it's all about the ladies. So let's get started on our queen. First, we have to cut out our foam piece. So the whole head is going to be made out of the styrofoam. So I traced that, cut that out with my X-Acto knife, and then attached our paper to the foam using a spray adhesive that I purchased from Michael's. And so the spray can said that it was safe to use on foam, but as you can see as I'm spraying here, some of that foam is still disintegrating. So I'm glad I wasn't too heavy-handed on that, or else our paper would not have been able to adhere to the surface like I needed it to. So I'm not pressing down on this paper at all. I just placed it, and then I used this roller that I believe is created from the Mod Podge company. I purchased that at Michael's too. And I'm just using that to even everything out and make sure that there's no air bubbles in the paper. And I also want to avoid placing any fingerprints on this paper because it's specialty paper, it's shiny, it has glitter in it, and if I put my fingers on it, you will definitely see that oil from the fingers on the paper. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out just the head. So we're going to be creating the hair ourselves. That's the whole purpose of this wreath. So I'm going to trace out the entire head and leave the hairline. That way, once we attach the hair and try to form it around the head, it will look a lot more natural. So I just started cutting that out with the X-Acto knife, and once you've got most of it cut down, you can just pull that foam right apart. Once we have our whole head cut out, now it's time for us to attach it to the wreath form. So I'm going to be creating one hole at the top and one hole at the bottom. Now I want you to do a hole in the middle of the top of the head and in the middle of the bottom of the head. But because of the way that the head is shaped, it kind of was off to the right side. But I am securing this with pipe cleaners because they're cheap. They come in many different colors. They're very flexible, but they're also strong because they are all just wires. So as you can see there, I just placed the pipe cleaner through the hole, wrap that pipe cleaner around one of the wreath form levels, and then just twist it. Pipe cleaners are so easy to use. And they're so convenient for any DIY project that you may be doing. And it's a lot safer than using exposed wire. It's just as strong, but it is a lot safer than using exposed wire. So we're just sticking this pipe cleaner through the hole, as you see there. Pull it halfway through. We're going to slide that pipe cleaner through the wire form. Make sure we position it as straight as possible so we have our head angled at the place where we want it. And then I thought I was showing you all this in the video, but it's a little off screen. But we're just twisting that pipe cleaner right around. And then you can see it moved a little bit from side to side, so I'm going to wrap that around another level of the wire form, and we're going to twist that again just to make sure it's extra secure and that the head doesn't slide or swing from left to right. I'm going to give it a shake and a twirl. Make sure the head doesn't move, it looks secure. And we're going to cut off the excess with our wire cutters. So I wanted to add some color to her lips and her face so that the whole thing isn't just brown. So I got this clear changing paint. Now I thought it was a regular paint. I guess I didn't read the label all the way, but it's actually a color changing top coat. So it is still transparent, but the glitter that is in the actual paint is color changing. So once I placed that on and saw that it was still clear and it didn't really add any color to her face, I decided to grab a Sharpie. I took a red Sharpie that I have and then I colored in her top lip. And because the paint is already on the bottom lip, I just had to leave it like that. I'm not going to put Sharpie on top of the paint. But once I was finished, I actually did really like the way that it looked. This might be a new beauty trend for 2020, having just the top lip colored, the bottom lip a different color, two-tone lip colors, hashtag 2020. So now we're going to start placing the hair. So I have this rope that I purchased from Michael's. And so I'm just going to wrap that around one of the levels of the wreath form. We're going to wrap it around, then we're going to tie it in a knot and just pull that knot as tightly as we possibly can. And that's how we're going to attach every individual piece of hair. It's a really simple process, but it's also very tedious. If you ever had braids or twists and you've used any type of weave or extension, you know how much hair one head can take. And this wreath is no different. So once I had a few pieces attached to the wreath form, I went ahead and used my hot glue gun to attach those pieces together. That way the rope pieces won't slide back and forth along the wreath form. So we have our head secured to the form with our pipe cleaners, and now we're going to have our rope hair secured with the hot glue. We're just going to keep on adding more and more rope until we have the entire top half of the wreath covered. So in order to make the ends, because the rope is actually just one long piece of rope, so I measured the lengths out to be a little bit even, use the scissors to cut it, and then we sealed that tip off with some fire. So I used the regular candle lighter, and that fire is just going to get rid of all the loose frays of rope on there. This is the rope that I purchased from Michael's. I believe each pack was probably about $6 or $7. And in total, I probably used about 4 packs of this rope. So now that we have that top portion covered, we want to begin styling and covering up the back. So because they're all in knots, there are little pockets of spaces in between each piece of rope, and so we don't want to hang the wreath and be able to see past it, to see through it to the other side. So right now what I'm doing is I am securing the top row of rope and I'm going to pull them onto the back, and then I'm going to glue them together to kind of make a wall of rope to the back. So even if you can see through the wreath, through the front side, all you will see is the rope. You will not be able to see the wall or the door or whatever surface is behind the wreath. So I start by gluing the top portions in position. And then once I have all the tops angled in the way that I want, you will see me begin to place the actual rope around the foam head to see how I can cover it up the best. So you see I have a little bit of a swirl pattern going here because the hair is a bit longer. I don't have to use as many pieces of rope to cover the entire back, which is great. And so you see me kind of going at an L shape, so it kind of goes to the left at the top, and then it follows the shape of the head around the foam. So not only is this actually covering up whatever space is behind the rope, but it's also reinforcing the head because the rope is adding another layer of security and thickness to the styrofoam. So it's a 2-in-1. So this is what it looks like when I finish the back. So now you shouldn't be able to see anything but rope when you look through the wreath. So now we're starting to style the hair. And so I decided to go for a bob look. So we're gonna have the hair on this left side curve around and follow the shape of the face. And then her hair on the right is just gonna hang straight down. That's the look that I'm going for. So right now we're securing the hair that's curving around. And this is what we have. So it looks nice, but the hair also looks unrealistic because it's so blonde that I decided to run to the store and grab some spray paint to give it some color. So I decided to spray her hair brown, and then I wanted to add a dash of red in with it as well. So then the hair will look a lot closer to her actual skin tone and look a lot more realistic in the end. So I have these shortcut paints from Krylon. I ran and picked these up from Michael's. So I got a red one and a brown one. And this is what it looks like thus far. So I was using gloves as well when I was spraying this. That way I could spray the top, and then right after I spray the top, I could move the pieces around and be able to spray the back side of them. And then we went and I styled it and secured it all down with some hot glue. And this is what we have thus far. So as you can see, there's still exposed wreath form on the left, but I still have extra rope, so I'm just going to place some rope over there and secure that with hot glue because there really isn't enough room over there to tie it to knots. So I believe I tied 2 pieces with knots and the rest I hot glued directly on top of the other pieces, and then just glued the ends to the back side of the wreath. And I also spray painted those individually. I just cut out those pieces of rope, threw them in a grocery bag, and spray painted it before attaching it to the wreath. And so this is what the back side looks like. There's no need to paint the back side because it's the back and no one's looking back there. And we're gonna cover that anyway. So I use some craft foam and I place that on the back, and I attach that using that spray adhesive again that we use to attach the specialty paper to the styrofoam. I also reinforce that foam in the back of the wreath with some hot glue just to make sure that the foam was able to stick to the wreath form, because the adhesive worked well on the styrofoam and the rope, but it was not strong enough to attach the foam to the wreath form. And so the spray worked really well on the back as well. And I really just molded that foam paper in with my hands. That way it could really form into the shape of the wreath. So I didn't want it to be just one flat rectangle. I wanted to actually mold into the wreath. And so I just pressed into that. And then I added a few extra pieces to the front. For all the spaces that still looked empty, I just cut up some of that paper and moved them on the front side. That way there's no holes. What I'm pointing to right now is a piece of pipe cleaner. I actually twisted 2 pieces of pipe cleaner together to make them extra thick, and I created this loop in the back. And so I'm holding it with just 2 fingers, nothing else, to show you how strong that pipe cleaner really is. And because it's the same color as the hair, we can just push it in and make it invisible, and no one even knows how you're attaching it to the wall. It's very convenient. It's like a collapsible hook that you have. And because the pipe cleaner is a nice tan color, it also doesn't stand out too much from the color of the specialty paper. So it was very easy, very simple. Just a little tedious to actually attach all of the hair, but I really like how it turned out. It looks way better than I thought it would in the beginning. And I'm really excited to show you guys how the king wreath turns out as well. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Tell me how you like it below in the comments, and make sure you subscribe to After Work Entrepreneurs to catch all of our latest videos.